Hello all, this is a video going over the setup for GEP and EP. It's going to be the second video in User's Manual Intro. You can search that category, User's Manual here. Anyway, so going from the local disk, I'm picking up from that video, that previous video, the intro. As long as you have the CGS here and the tickets in there, on local disk, and go to Program Files, CGS, Trial, User's Manual, and then GEP User's Manual. I would go through the process of setting it up, but I would have to change a lot of stuff. So you just click on that and you click Try and plug in your details. Anyway, once you get there, you will have GEP and then open up EP. I covered this in the previous video, but the way to get this CGS toolbar up here is to go right-click, customize the ribbon, import, go to Program Files, CGS, and there's one here, and I also put one in here. And that's what brings that up, which is required. So here's the information imported from GEP, and everything is nicely filled out. First thing you want to do is save as. Navigate to the top of your bidding file, bidding folder, I'm sorry, and it will save it as what's in here. You can also do that on GC. There's a save as there. This one puts the due date before the project. This one puts the project before the due date. That can be found on page 26 of the manual. Anyway, Glass Estimator Pro, we're looking at the final tab here, inclusions, Alt, At, and A, Matrix, Estimators Information, and Material Percentages. It's pretty simple. You're plugging in your price per man hour for install, caulk, and fab for open shop. And you're doing the same for prevailing wage. And then the transit percentage adds a percentage of the caulk and the install man hours. So 71 plus 98, whatever, times 10% is 814. And then these buttons will include fabrication in prevailing wage if it's an alt add. Exclude. That might be a way to do it if you want to get it cheap, to exclude transit and fab. Anyway, that is if you use alt add, and this number will go on easy proposal. 648. Looks like it changed a little. Let's see. Anyway, it's slightly different. You also want to do your markup for the material, your tax rate, and your energy surcharge. Project name goes here. Due date and construction is the drawing set if you want to use that. Those three elements go here. If you hit preview result, the project name, drawing set goes there, and the bid date goes here. Estimator submitted by estimator. That is this information here. So John Doe AC Glass would show up. Email and phone number don't go on the proposal. It's assumed that you would put that in the header. Sorry about the trash outside making noise. But they do go on RFQs. An example of an RFQ is here. So there's the information there. Also, the due date for the project is June 1st. I'm sorry, June 2nd, which is here. Wednesday, June 2nd. That's a BSL. So if you do one, it is 1 day prior to the due date. If you go 2, your request for quote due date is 2 days, 2 work days prior, which is very cool. You'll see those all over the place. Let's go back to here. GC, adding a GC is pretty simple. You right click, insert row, above or below, doesn't matter, and then plug in your information. This is then translated over to here on final generic BS, MJ, and then John Lennon. So that is your cheat sheet. That's your nickname. And just make sure that you do this. Insert a table or column, because this is known to Excel as a table. And if you insert, if you copy and insert or something, I don't think it, yeah, it'll kind of force you into that. But make sure you do insert column, right? Labor man hours. None of this has to be done initially. This page can be ignored when first cracking the GEP. But once you use it, adjusting them is essential. So you want to have a sit down with whoever is the best at figuring labor. And you are adjusting these two columns. So you have storefront 1 and 2, which is exterior, and 3, which is interior. Same goes for curtain wall. So we're looking at these numbers are translated from here, and these are just inputs from the project itself. And it's saying 2-man, 1 hour to measure an opening. You can adjust that at will. Also, what you want to do is adjust the linear feet per man hour and the number of caulk joints. So if you're doing interior and exterior, you would, do 2. If you're doing just exterior, do 1. That adjusts this. And then if you work with price per linear foot, you can, adjust this accordingly to get, what you want. So you're changing this and this. Fabrication, 2-man 0.3. You can kind of set this up however you want it. This is set right now to equal the number of joints. And this is set to equal the number of stock length plus joints. And this is steel. So when you want to go through, eventually get through to all of them, there's a CR Lawrence that's set up the same way. Here's ARS set up the same way. Database prices and storefront and curtain wall systems. This you can go to page 27 to check it out for more information. And once again, this doesn't have to be done immediately. But if you go over here to dollar, these are your glass database prices. You can update. I understand there's been an increase of glass, so you can probably one of the first things you want to do when you actually start using the program is to update these prices, and do so every 3 months or so. Or if you get a bid, it would behoove you to update it for the database price. There's also utility here, fire rated. Just go through and check it out. Brake metal, this translates over into brake metal here. So 67 pan, 2210, and mill. Pan, 2210, mill is 67. If I were to change this to 68, there it is. The other thing is, what was it? Oh, it's on the money tab over to the right. Is creating new systems. So we have exterior storefront, interior storefront, exterior curtain wall, and interior curtain wall over to the right. So if I just do, what you want to do is copy this. So this will show up in SF1 and SF2, right? So it's these two here. This one is reserved for interior. If I go to US Aluminum, it will now show my little test here. And then what that does, let me just demonstrate here again. So this is your shorthand, and this is what goes on the proposal. So test 2 is your shorthand, and that shows up here. Test 2. It's just a shorthand, you know, explanation so you can see what product it is. So it shows up on final and individual as test 2. So that's setting up Glass Estimator Pro. Let's see, easy proposal. Using macros, just go through this. You want to set up the mail merge. And this is setting up CGS tab. I've kind of upgraded this a little bit, but this is a manual way of doing it. Oh, here it is. Find cgs.word ex. So I did that at the beginning of the video. Manual add just goes in and manually adds them. You could use this if you already have a existing custom ribbon. That is that. All right, so here we have merge fields, typical text, and drop-down lists. So as of right now, when you see the merge fields, it's toggled off. So preview results is here as well as here. So that is now showing you what you have imported. And the way to import is use an existing list. I've done many videos of here. Go find it, open, and then you want to select table _01. Make sure this is set and hit OK, and that'll import it. The other part that you want to do for setting up is, of course, putting a header up here, putting your company information at the footer, and then also, so you want to preview results, toggle it off so you can see what is a bookmark, and then you can go here, and this is a drop-down list. This can be adjusted through here. You have to turn design mode on, and it'll look like that, and then go to properties, and you can add stuff. Add solar band, whatever, 90. This shows you all of the drop-down lists. This one is just a tint. This one is a low E. And they're all independent. So if you add something here, you have to add it there as well. So you can see here, let's just turn this off. So oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so here's a drop down in-ground floor closer for all glass doors. Basically the doors have them standard bottom rail, 10-inch, custom hardware or standard manufacturer's hardware. You can add, you know, rim exit or MS, whatever, to that. The other thing is the inclusions, which is known as typical text. So the way to number these is click on it and then right click and then continue numbering. Initially I had it so the inclusions of storefront, so these three would be 1, 2, and 3, and then I started over with 1, 2, 3 on curtain wall, but that didn't make sense, so I just put it back to 1 and 2. So I believe you can do continue numbering. I forget how to do it exactly, but anyway, you want to right click and use these continue numbering or restart at 1, set numbering value. I think that's what it would do. So if you want to do inclusion 1 and then 2, you would go 2, and then this would be 3, right? Anyway, so that's just doing the numbers. One thing to to figure here is I went with bullets because unfortunately if you do, I prefer A, B, C, D, because if you're on the phone with a GC, you can say item number A, inclusion 2. So however you're comfortable, that's the point of me broaching this. The unfortunate part is if you hide an item that's not used, Word will see it as an item and will say AB, which is hidden. So what is shown will say AC. So it just got a little dicey and it got a little silly. So I may look back into that to see how to do that. I think you may be able to hide bookmarks. The other thing that I want to go over here is the idea of bookmarks. So if you click here on Insert tab, the way that these are hidden is the macro says if SF1P and SF1Q is 0, meaning the price of storefront 1 and the quantity of openings of storefront 1 are 0, it will get rid of this. So the entire bookmark includes this, which is a font of 4, I believe. And figuring out that had to be in there to get it to work properly took me a lot of time. So when you're adjusting this, just make sure you don't disrupt that. And if you do, go back to your saved copy and copy SF1 back over, or let me know if you screwed that up. You probably won't, as long as you're careful with it, and realizing where the bookmarks are compared to the drop downs. The bookmarks, the merge fields, which is this, the bookmarks, which is, they're all over the place, and, typical text. So that's just upgrading it to your liking. And then obviously over here, you want to review this. And I have this is a fun little thing in here. Proposal is valid for 90 calendar days. And then you can put in your company name here. I like that little note, even though we all know it doesn't ever carry over to the contract. But it's just something to say, hey, I had it on the contract. Like, we have the right to refigure it. So just going back to the manual, I believe that is it. Control 9 zooms to height. That's what I use. And then reviewing this just gives you an idea of what goes where. CRL railings, check marks translate over to here. I don't know if I went over that. So here with the check marks, shops and PE are included because this is populated no matter what is going on here. I just like to have that in there in case nothing is there to put it as a alt add. So once again, if this is populated, that will show up no matter what is in here. So this can be blank and the same thing will happen. So that is included. Shops and PE are included. Mockups, that is blank, so it goes to an alt add of 8600. Because both of them are blank, testing is not applicable. If you want an alt add, which is generally pretty rare for prevailing wage, you can click that and it'll post this number in prevailing wage as an alt add. Generally, you're going to want to do not applicable. And if it's included, make sure that the prevailing wage rates are over here. All right. I believe that's it. Design mode, properties. Yeah, this is going over the... Anyway, so that's it. Thank you for watching.